All right, we got to get this December newsletter out, so we're going to finish the last section here today. We had a Throwback Thursday session last month, and I decided to change that to call it Back in the Day, because my daughters have heard plenty of back in the day stories. I heard plenty of back in the day stories. So here's our first section of Back in the Day. And what I thought I would do here, as you'll see, is kind of go back to the beginnings for me. And hey, that rhymed. That's pretty cool, isn't it? But I'm going to go back to the beginnings, and in the course show some back in the day pictures and memorabilia and take you through on a little history lesson of the 70s and 80s for the most part. So, as any good story, we have to have a beginning. And folks, here is the beginning. Take a good look at that, huh? Fat, happy, in a diaper full of turkey. Some things don't change. So, anyway, one more good look. That was, believe it or not, the irony of this whole thing is I was 2 days old in both of those pictures. No, I think that was about 4 months old. But that was the beginnings. I was adopted by my mom, dad, Alan, and Ruth Jones. And that's one of the pictures from very young age, obviously. I filled that seat up pretty good, though, didn't I? So anyway, we continue on as in Sway City, Iowa, where I had my first interaction with education. And as if you read or looked over Mrs. Rogers' section on the course, we have a link. We both went to the same elementary school in Sway City, Iowa. And look what I found. This is what you call a report card back in the day. All right? And if we pull this out, wow. There's a lot more S's there than I thought would be. But I'm pretty happy about that. What I thought was really interesting is on the back, and you probably can't see this, my mom signed it, Mrs. Allen Jones. Not Ruth Jones, not Mrs. Jones, but Mrs. Allen Jones. That's kind of a testament to the times there. Okay? That was kindergarten back in Sway City, Iowa. And to accompany that, look at this. Charming young fellow there. That's my kindergarten picture there in one of my books that I found while we were moving process. And yes, all about me. It was a pink book, and I was adopted, so my folks knew they were getting a boy. And by those pictures, I'm pretty much all boy. But they got me a pink book. From there, from Sway City, Iowa, my next stop in my gypsy vagabond life was at a place called Harlan Community Schools. Okay, and this is 1973. I am in grade 3, and my teacher was Sandra J. Kay. All right, and once again here, we get a full report. Lots of check marks on this one, mostly due to, I think it says, progress acceptable for this student. A few comments in the back here. I like that. That's called handwriting. It's not typewritten or keyboard written. Danny has continued to progress quite satisfactorily. He has, however, become somewhat lax in his writing. I was lax in 3rd grade. Okay, and at the end of the year, I've been a very conscientious student. I want all humanity to see that. Very conscientious. And for entertainment back in the day, we didn't have Nintendo. We didn't have game. Well, they started to. But honestly, for a good old fashioned fun time, we went to the Grease Pig contest at the county fair, and there I am, winning by far and away in 1st place. I drug that porker back into the pen as quick as anybody ever did in the, let's see, 1974, 3rd grade, right there. There I am, okay? As we moved along in life, I then went to Floyd Valley High School. And in grade 7, another report, a little smaller. I want this. Look at all those A's on there, huh? Wow, something happened, except I got to the area of conduct. And I think C must have stood for conduct because that's the grade I got in there. I guess in 7th grade we're all a little squirrely. At Floyd Valley, we also matriculated from junior high to high school, and we had a ceremony and we all got a certificate of promotion. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, back then we accomplished something. As I was at Floyd Valley High School, I was also a member of the band. And here we have a picture, dead center. The 2 big guys on my right and left at the top are leaning on me. But there I was in the band. I think they didn't want me to hold an instrument per se because I didn't really play very well. So they didn't want people to know that I played an instrument, but I was a member of the band. Had some great times there. All right. Now, while at Floyd Valley, I thought this was interesting too. I went to, and this is really back in the day for you Iowa State fans, take a look at this. The Donnie Duncan football camp. How many of you out there remember Donnie Duncan as the head football coach at Iowa State? Not very long. He went on to greener pastures at Oklahoma. But he was a head coach here for a while. My uncle sent me to this camp. We got a nice little certificate that showed we were there. And this is the coolest part. This is so cool. We got an itinerary every day. The itinerary, if you'll notice, is in purple. So they did not have copy machines back then. They had the old mimeograph machines, I believe they're called, and I remember them. And I remember the secretaries coming out with purple fingers when they had to do a bunch of tests. So that was our itinerary for the Donnie Duncan football camp back in 1981. 1981, still at Floyd Valley. Also, back in the day, we had this thing called newspapers. Well, here's a little newspaper clipping where at Floyd Valley I was a member of the choral reading group, a large group ensemble that went to state. We qualified for state. And our teacher was very surprised at that. We were glad to get the district over with and at least to find out how it went. The one rating received that qualified them for state. The kids talked after the performance at Morris Orange City if I thought they did well enough to go on. I just thought, no, there's so many good groups there. But we did. We qualified, and for a little school with 28 kids in my class at Floyd Valley High School, we qualified for state and got to go to the sprawling metropolis of Des Moines for the state contest. And it was good times. And another newspaper article here. I think this is my first taste of fame. I'm in the picture right here. There I am executing a perfect block in the back on a kid from Akron, Westfield. Anyway, that was my first, I think my first newspaper clippings I got in, and I am committing a felony on the football field. All right. From there, folks, I went to Oklahoma. And 83, I did not like it at all. I didn't know anything else but growing up in Iowa, and I wanted to finish out as a sophomore I wanted to finish my last 2 years at Floyd Valley High School. Just didn't happen. Turned out to be a pretty good thing. Okay, we'll go through this a little quickly. While I was there, I participated. I couldn't participate in band anymore. They outlawed me singing in most provinces and localities and anywhere else in America except in the shower or the car, which I still do. But I did still participate in athletics, and I was a member of speech and in plays. But of all the awards and fun and good times I've had with athletics, I think one of the neatest awards I ever got was my junior year there. It was kind of fun, and it was from the National Councils of Teachers of English. I believe 6 or 8 kids from the entire state of Oklahoma, and I'm guessing there was at least 10 or 12 that could write and could enter into that contest, but I was one of the 6 or 8 that got chosen to receive this award. Again, National Councils of Teachers of English. Beth Young, my high school honors English teacher in junior year, asked me to do that, and I said sure. I couldn't turn her down. What a wonderful woman. What a great influence on me, and just one of the greatest teachers I've ever met. And guys, here's something really cool. When I grow up and get rich and famous, some of you can buy this. Any of you could buy this from me. This is the handwritten manuscript of part of what I wrote to receive that award. And this is what we call a rough draft nowadays. I didn't Google Doc share this with anybody. I just wrote it, and I shared it with Mrs. Beth Young, who then scribbled on it and told me how to make it better. There you go, rough draft. But back in the day, that's what a rough draft was. So anyway, that happened my junior year there, senior year. In addition, I was involved in the plays, and I found this program for the last play I was in. It was the end of my junior year. I did not participate in my senior year, but back in the day, this is what a program looked like for a play. All right, Claremore High School presents Desperate Ambrose, a tale of the Old West. All right, and in very neatly typewritten characters, there I am, Panhandle Jake, played by Danny Jones. All right, I was Panhandle Jake. Well, let's take a look. This is a copy of the play I got to keep. Hey, signed when I get rich and famous, when I get older, you can buy this too off of me. I was Panhandle Jake. Let's take a look. The character descriptions for Panhandle Jake. Panhandle Jake, the grizzled, whiskered, easygoing, bellhop desk clerk, wears faded jeans, plaid shirt, old cowboy boots, and a battered western hat that, like Jake himself, has seen better days. He spent the better part, or in this case worse, of his 60 years as a prospector. Pretty much nailed it, didn't I, huh? All right. And finally, as all of you know, I am a slave to fashion. I'm always conscientious of my appearance, and therefore I take meticulous care in how I prepare myself for the day. And this picture, my senior picture in football, is nothing but a testament to that, especially the bowl haircut. Dun, 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 dun. That's awesome, isn't it? But back in the day, that was acceptable. Men were men, all right? And this, that we don't need, is my high school diploma from Claremore High School. And the one interesting thing I know here, right there at the bottom was signed Frank C. Robson, the clerk of our school board. Now, the interesting thing about Frank Robson is he came to speak at our accounting class my junior year, I believe, might be senior year. Frank Robson was a brother-in-law to Sam Walton of Walmart fame, and his job at that time was to acquire the land for the building of the new Walmarts. And obviously a well-connected guy, but lived in our community. So that was pretty cool, I thought. From there, last thing about high school. I got a few more things here, but in high school in Oklahoma, it's a land known for its brotherhood and tolerance of other of different cultures and such like that. And so in football, which was kind of a king down there, we took it upon ourselves to spread this tolerance to other schools. And our rival at that time was Pryor, Oklahoma. So my senior year, having lost there my junior in a bitter, hated battle that was one of the ugliest things I'd ever seen. In fact, we had at the end of the game, we lost, and we're going into the respective locker rooms, which are about 6 feet apart, which is pretty stupid in Oklahoma. But anyway, we participated in some sort of brawl after the games. Words were said that I still don't remember how to say them or where they came from. But that was Pryor and Claremore, all right? My senior year, we hosted them at our place, and the student council decided, hey, let's get some spirit buttons made, and look at that. I hate Pryor. That's awesome, isn't it? That's school pride for you right there. Back in the day, that's what we did. From there, a little bit more, I went on to junior college and played some football and continued with my education. But again, continued with the slave to fashion with the cheesy mustache and stupid look on my face, okay? But that was at Mesa Community College in Mesa, Arizona, where I played football for 2 years. And at that time, this is one of my kind of favorite pictures too. I still have this frame, the original frame. This is the first team I ever coached out there in Arizona with my uncle over here, John Jones on the right side here. We coached a little baseball team and had a blast. We had a blast. You know, any coach that wears the Hawaiian flavored hat, it's got to be cool, doesn't he? All right. A few other things about back in the day. This is my senior high school yearbook from back in the day. All right. I just wanted to show a few things fashion-wise that probably will make most people cringe. Okay? All right, if we look at this picture right here, the Vans. I don't know what that is, but that girl dressed like that every day. Gallagher in the background was brand new to us. This, the parted hair down the middle, I don't know. Remember, I'm a slave to men's fashion, not women's fashion. But back in the day, that was high styling. Okay? And last thing I want to show here from back in the day is, like Garth Brooks says, when you've got friends in low places, you can get certain things accomplished. And I have left a legacy to my time at high school, my high school times in Claremore, by providing a written summation of a club that I was a founding member of. And if you take a long look here, it's alive and well, folks. And if you want to read real closely, the A.S.S. stands for the Association to Stop Soccer. We formed an elite group of young men back then who saw soccer for what it was, and that was an attack on the glorious American game of football. Obviously, I've since changed my thoughts on that, but I just thought it was interesting that I actually got something like that into the yearbook. So maybe those C's I got in conduct in 7th grade may have transferred over later in life. But anyway, this is not only a real quick history of the evolution of Dan Jones from fat, chubby, and happy to Dan Jones, fat, chubby, hairy, and happy, is also a little bit testament to the times, how things were and what happened back in the day for those of us nearing their 50s or whatever age I am. Hope you enjoyed it. Next month we'll have somebody new or some other addition to Back in the Day that I hope you enjoy. Thank you.